Brandon, what do you want to do after high school?
Go to New York.
You want to go to New York? Why do you
No,
want to
after
go?
college.
Okay, what do you want to do in college? Out of curiosity.
Maybe accounting.
Maybe accounting? Alright, you're a brave man. I think that's yours, by the way. Somebody else. Who else had their hand up over here? You said, what's your name?
James.
James, what do you want to do after high school?
Start a calculator company.
Start a calculator company. Awesome. Who else had their hand up? Let's get one more. Yes, ma'am, right here. What's your name? Anastasia, what do you want to do after high school? Become a mechanical engineer. It's awesome. Are you good at math?
Yeah.
Awesome. Keep it up. Okay. So basically, what I'm here to talk to you guys about today is how to. If you don't know what you want to do after high school, that's perfectly fine. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was scared. How many of you guys are scared? Let's be honest. You have no idea what you want to do after high school. None at all. Hey, that's the first step right there, is admitting that you don't know what you want to do, but that's okay. There's choices out there. So, what I came up with is, what's up, man? How you doing? Came up with a 5-step plan as to some tips that you guys can keep in your tool belt to help you choose success in the future, whether it's college, whether you decide the military, whether you decide to be an actor, what have you, anything. These things are across the board applicable in every field. But first, I need you guys to get up. I know it's the 8th period of the day. I need you guys' energy. So get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up.
Well,
Need
now
one
he's
volunteer.
asking for no Taylor, especially when we have my dog.
Hey, leave that down there. Leave that down there. Come on over here. Alright, what's your name, man? Quante. I'm John. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to turn up, right? So the international sign for turn up is I'm going to look at you, say Quante. We're about to turn up today on Friday, Friday, March 21st. I'm sorry. And you're going to look at me and be like, John, we're going to turn down for what, right?
Alright.
So then from there, we're like, we're about to turn up, Quante. John, we're about to.
Oh, John, we're about to turn down for what?
Okay, then we're gonna go 3 claps. 1, 2, 3, right?
Right.
And then what's that dance you guys are doing? The nay-nay, right? You're like, whoa! So it's gonna be like this. We'll be like, Quante, we're about to turn up today, right?
Right. No.
So, Quante, we're gonna turn up today. We're gonna
Turn down for what?
1, 2, 3. Nice. Everybody with the person next to you. Let's get this one.
Don't hold
Is he a motivational speaker? Or no? Is that what he's trying to be?
Just a business major. Yep.
What's he majoring in?
Business. Business and marketing.
Bring it back, bring it back. So, before I go into this, I'm going to give you guys a little personal story of some things that I did and how it's applicable to what we're talking about today. So, Ms. Ketch mentioned I was involved in a lot of things here. One of them was sports. Sports has always been my passion. I started playing from younger ages, from basketball, football, baseball, soccer, you name it. I would try it. Volleyball, sand volleyball, you can, anything. I would pick it up, I would try it at least one time. In high school, however, I played basketball, football, golf, and I played baseball in the summer, but not for CJ. But going into my freshman year at UD, the World Cup was on. It was 2012, and it was the World Cup. And myself, I have a very addictive personality, right? If I see something and it intrigues me, sorry guys, I'm stumbling over my words, and it intrigues me, I try to pick it up. Thank God I'm not addicted to gambling or I would be broke. So, anyways, I see soccer on TV and I come up with this bright idea. It's like, oh, I want to play Division I soccer, right? One problem, I haven't played soccer since 8th grade. So, what do? First, I call up the coach from UD, ask him if I can come down and meet with him. And he says, yes. Come up to him, this is kind of how the conversation went. Come into the office. Coach J. Paul, how you doing today? My name's Jonathan Besecker. I wanna play soccer for UD. Tell me what I have to do to play soccer for UD. He goes, Jonathan, it's awesome that you came in and talked to me. Do you have some game film? Do you have some stats? Anything that can help me gauge as who you are as a player? And I said, Coach Hall, no offense, but I haven't played soccer since I was in 8th grade. And he goes, yeah, so that's good. So what's your playing style? You know, how do you like to play soccer? And I told him, I'm like, I'm being serious. I haven't touched a soccer ball since 8th grade. And this guy laughed at me, in my face. So, kept that in the back of my mind. Didn't let it discourage me though, right? I go home, sit at dinner, I'm talking to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna play soccer for UD. She starts laughing. She's like, you just interviewed for X, Y, and Z school to play football, and you haven't touched a soccer ball in I don't know how many years, and you're gonna tell me that you wanna play soccer? And I said, yeah, absolutely. How you guys doing? You can come in. Okay, cool, no problem. I said, yeah, I wanna play soccer for UD. And she looks at me and she goes, you're crazy. Like, you're always doing this. You're always trying to pick up something new. Why don't you ever stick with something? And at my mind, or at the time, it didn't matter to me. I was doing something that I was passionate about, so it was okay in my book. My mom supported me. Even though she laughed and thought it was funny, she supported me and she was there for me. So this is how the plan of action got in place. I'd get up, I would lift 6 a.m. every morning, 5 days a week. I'd go to work, I worked at a pool. Gotta keep the beach body, that's why I was lifting, not even for soccer, but just for the beach body. But in all seriousness, leave there from work after a 6-hour workday. I would go home, I'd eat lunch, I'd take a nap, and then I would go to the soccer field for 4 hours. I would come back home to dinner, talk with my family, you know, catch up on the day, how was work, how was home, how are the dogs, and then I would go right back out to the soccer field. 8 hours a day I would spend at the soccer field, touching a ball, picking up a ball, running, training, anything that applied to soccer, I would do it. Now, fast forward, soccer tryouts. You know, get there, I'm stretching, get my stretch in, right? And I'm confident because I prepared for it. Now, one of the things that was required in the soccer tryout was a 2-mile run. So, people that were currently on the team ran an average of like 12:30 was the best time. Now, I knew this was coming because I talked to people. I asked questions about what usually is in the tryout. I was setting myself up for success. When I got there, I ran my 2-mile in 10:30, better than anybody on the team. Coach was astounded. Not only did I run well, but I played well in the tryout too. Get a call a few days later. Says, Jonathan, we were really impressed with you. We'd have a spot on the team if you'd like it. Let me know. Thought about it. Turns out I actually ended up playing football at UD, so this was all irrelevant to begin with. But the key takeaway here is you can do anything that you set your mind to. Now you have to understand with that comes a lot of sacrifices. I didn't see my friends as much that summer. I didn't go on family vacation. I worked my butt off to get where I wanted to be because I was passionate about it. Now, how many of you guys, it sounds really cliche, but how many of you guys have been told that you can do anything you set your mind to? How many of your parents have told you that? How many of you guys actually believe that? Okay. So, what I'm here to do today is basically try to change your thought process. You can do anything that you set your mind to. You just have to understand what it takes to get there. Let me get 1 clap if you're with me. 2 claps. Half a clap. Gotcha, guys. Can't do a half a clap. It's like air there. But in all seriousness, I'm going to go through, I have this little idea right here. It's called SCAN. It's an acronym and it stands for stuff. I'm going to give you guys some real life examples of people who've done it before, people you probably have heard of, and hopefully you guys can relate and apply it to what you want to do after this. First up, how many of you guys know who this is? You all better raise your hand. She's beautiful, she's talented, she is the woman, right? Beyonce Knowles. She's not, I don't know if her name is Knowles anymore. She got married, right?
Beyonce Knowles.
Okay, it's still Knowles? Okay. Doesn't matter. Beyonce does a lot of things really, really, really well. If you think about it, I read this interview with her where she was getting asked all these questions and it's like, Beyonce, you just released an album, you had a child, you had a marriage, you're touring, you know, when do you sleep? Beyonce smiled and she responded calmly. You know, she didn't have her alter ego on with whatever she performs with on stage, or I don't know what the name of it is, but yeah, exactly. Yeah, he knows it over here. But she responded. She said, "Sleep." She says, "I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm doing what I love right now." Now, I am by no means trying to tell you guys that you need to spread yourself so thin where you just can't take it anymore. But let me ask you something. How many of you guys, when you have things piling up, whether it's family, school, football, extracurriculars, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, prom, how many of you guys get overwhelmed by that? Everybody should raise their hand. Who gets stressed out here? Now, how many of you guys immediately try to cut something from that or get rid of something from that? More people. How many of you guys just shut down, period, and sometimes you don't know what to do? More people. All right. What Beyonce does that sets her apart from so many people is she twists that mindset around. So when you have something, so many things that you're trying to do, and you can't seem to get out of the rut, where you guys would shut down or cut something out, she adds something. She adds a new tour. She adds a new song. She adds a new dance. Something. Now, I'm using all the music examples because that's what she's passionate about. But she's always doing something more. And it helps her because that passion and that drive to stay committed keeps her on the straight and narrow. One clap if you're with me. All right? Now, mathematically proven, if you spread yourself out and you put yourself in different opportunities in different fields, you're going to set yourself up for success because you're relatable to different people. However, if you don't take chances, you're going to miss 100% of the chances you don't take. One clap if you're with me. All right. Oops, don't know what happened there. There we go. Next point, seeing the scan. Comfortable equals being uncomfortable. If you look right up there, that is me. Junior year of high school here. I was all about sports, right? Never did anything music-wise. Got peer pressured into trying out for Greece. One of the best experiences I've ever had here. It's awesome. I met some friends. It changed my whole mindset into things that I loved, and it introduced me to new hobbies. Personally, I was scared. I remember walking into the audition room, and I was like, it was a call back, and there's all these people there, and I'm like, geez, I've been at CJ for 2.5 years, and I've never seen any of you guys. And they're probably thinking, like, who's this kid over here trying to be Zac Efron getting into the musical, right? You know, I played basketball at the time, we were in the tournament, so it was a lot of pressure. However, being uncomfortable in this situation helped me. It helped me adapt, it helped change my mindset, and it helps me in the future because now when I get in a situation where I'm uncomfortable, I almost know how to act. I can apply it across the board. So, if you guys actually are interested, now I love music, involved in it in every essence. I was in choir my senior year, an a cappella group, obviously, and I still do it. I'm in a gospel choir, I do a cappella at college, and I'm actually opening up for a concert tonight at my school. But this can be applied directly to your guys' college search or to your guys' next step in life. How many of you guys said you knew where you wanted to go to school? How many of you guys don't know where you want to go? Okay, most of you, right? But you do know you want to go somewhere. So one of the things that sold me on UD is I applied really, really late in the process, and basically I didn't want to go there because I lived down the street the entire time, right? Like, nobody wants to, I live 15 minutes north of here in Heber Heights. This is literally walking distance from UD. So I didn't really want to go there, but when I went to school for a visit and a tour, not only was I uncomfortable because I had this pre-notion mindset that I didn't want to stay there, but I was uncomfortable because I didn't know what it was actually like. I only saw it from the outside. The tour is what changed it. It's what sold it. I came out of there, I was like, I'm going to UD, I have to go to UD. Now granted, it's a little expensive, we figured that out, but I knew from then that I was going to go there. And the key is, I would have never known that unless I've taken that tour. It takes being uncomfortable to get comfortable. One clap if you're with me. Ask for help. Who here has an S across their chest, like Superman, with the Clark Kent glasses? I know I check myself too every now and then. But no, in all seriousness, not everybody can do it by themselves. It's just a fact of life. You got a couple of you raised your hands, said you didn't know where you wanted to go, or you don't know what you want to do after high school. One of the biggest things that you can set yourself up for success with is asking for help. You have people like Miss Ketch here. You have counselors, other teachers, family members, friends. All of these people are here to help you. But it takes you guys taking that initial step and reaching out for the help to set yourself up for success in order to get it. Real life example of this, back to the soccer. When I was training in the summer, I wasn't training by myself. I couldn't do it by myself. I had basically a 3-person team that helped me get to where I was at. Former coach and 2 brothers that I grew up with in grade school. Now, one of them plays for the Houston Dynamo now, and the other one played for the national team. And it took me reaching out to them. It took a lot of calling around. I called the old school. I called coaches. I called friends of them just so I could get in contact with them. But when I reached out to them and asked them, hey, can you guys help me excel and get to this next spot, they were more than willing to help. As soon as I put in the step, or as I put in the effort, they reciprocated it and brought it back to me, and they helped me out a lot. I wouldn't have made the team if I didn't have them. Who knows who this guy is right here?
He's dead.
Yes, he's dead, but who is he? Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Oh, I was just saying that I knew who it was.
Yeah, but what's your name?
Shalice.
Shalise? Who's this guy?
Steve
Steve
Jobs.
Jobs. Who was Steve Jobs?
Apple.
Apple, right? How many of you guys?
Can I help you?
How many of you guys know the story of Steve Jobs?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me the story of Steve Jobs.
Well, he started, he worked with Steve Ballmer, developed the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he dropped out of college.
Yes, he did. Steve Jobs, I'll give you the insight. That's very good that you knew that, actually, by the way, because people just know he has a lot of money and that he works with Apple. But much like the Michael Jordan, how many of you guys know the Michael Jordan story? Got cut from his high school team and then came back, right? Steve Jobs basically did the same thing. If you take Apple in the 90s with their first product line, he came out and he was the CEO of the company and he actually led them to bankruptcy. And he did this by not creating a culture for Apple products. They brought in a new guy to be CEO, and a few years later they brought Jobs back because they were still struggling. They liked what he did, but they just wanted to see some performance out of him. So the N in the scan model right up here, the first one is never forget an experience. Jobs remembered that the first time from his failure, he didn't create a culture for Apple products. Now, if everybody were to pull out their cell phone from their pocket right now, because we all know you guys have them, what do you have?
iPhone.
Exactly what I'm saying. Some people have Android, some people still have a flip phone if they're living in the Stone Age. It doesn't matter. But a majority of people, including Miss Ketch back there, she has an iPhone. But in all seriousness, he created a culture and a need for iPhones. He remembered what led to the failure in the first part and how he could use that to become successful in the second part. One clap if you're with me. Now, how can you apply this to college? How can you apply this to the next step? All these things that you're doing where you're spreading yourself out and you're giving yourself options, you're being uncomfortable, and you're putting yourself in different situations and stepping outside the box, and you're asking for help. All this is gathering knowledge. It's acquiring data, and it's giving you guys different things that you can dive into or become successful at. Who knows? You may be passionate about something that you've never even tried, and a few years from now, that may be what you're trying to do with your life. Never forgetting an experience and how you got there is only going to translate to you finding out what you really want to do in life. Last thing, last in, never settle. Who's this guy up here? Beyonce's husband.
That is not Kanye West.
You know what?
Who is this in all seriousness? Jay-Z, right? Does anybody know Jay-Z's story?
I know it.
You know the story? What's the story? What's your name? Aaron, what's the story?
He grew up in I want to say Brooklyn or somewhere in that area, and he didn't really have a lot, but his music and his creativity made him something that is inspiring today and creative today, and everyone loves his music and what he stands for and what he brought to the industry.
So, if you had to guess, what is Jay-Z's passion?
Music.
Exactly. Now, did you know that Jay-Z, the first 4 record labels that he tried to give a CD to, he got denied from them. They said he didn't like the sound, they didn't like the style, they didn't like the whole package, they just didn't like it. Jay-Z spent the rest of this time selling his CDs, his mixtapes, out of the back of his trunk and out of his garage, and he performed at clubs, at underground events. Jay-Z's also known for being a very successful entrepreneur. The reason why is because he started his own record label. And if you guys actually go and search right now, there's tons of people, new artists like J. Cole and all them guys, they're under Jay-Z's label, right? What did Jay-Z do is he never settled. People told him no. People told him he wouldn't be able to do this. And they tried to stop him from his dream and his passion. He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to do music. He wasn't going to let anybody get in the way of that. So when he couldn't get into a label, instead of giving up, he started his own. There's so many things that you guys can take away from this lesson right here. You guys right now are coming to high school because you have to. Your parents are sending you here. Sometimes it may be hard to focus in class, right? But when you go off to college, that's your guys' education. It's your guys' time to do what you want to do. You're not doing it for your parents. A lot of you guys are going to be paying for school, I'm assuming. So let's say, for instance, my parents wanted me to be a doctor. I had no inclination or no drive to ever do that. I wanted to be a businessman. I'm using this as a hypothetical example, but I'm going to choose what I want to do because ultimately I'm going to be happy at the end of the day doing something I love and something that I'm passionate about versus something that's just in it for the money or something that I'm doing for somebody else. One clap if you're with me. All right, so everybody stand up. Raise your right hand.
Taylor, you got this.
Say I. Jonathan, your name. Don't say my name. So I, Jonathan. You guys say yours. Yep. Will never, ever settle for anything less than my passion. Let me get one clap. 2 claps. Half clap. I got you. Alright, thank you guys so much for letting me talk to you guys. If you guys have any questions or anything, my email's up on the board. I know it's kind of blocked at the bottom. Send me questions. If I can't help you guys, I will point you in the direction of somebody that can help you. And I will go out of my way to get you guys on the right track.
Bless your heart.
You guys have any questions for John?
Oh, I have a question.
Put your hand up and we'll talk.
Yes, sir.
How's life in college?
How's life in college? What specifically are you asking about?
Classes you take.
Classes I take. Here, I'm going to grab this stool for a second. Classes I take. So I am currently a double business major in marketing and entrepreneurship. So a lot of freshmen, when they come in, they have to take what's called gen eds or gen electives or general education classes, math, science. They call it writing seminar, but it's an English class. And everybody has to take them across the board in some form. Excuse me. But once you get past those, you start getting into your major classes. So now I'm taking accounting, marketing classes, management classes, things that are going to help me excel in the business world. So that's where I'm at with my class process right now. Answer your question? Yes, ma'am.
So do you know what you want to do now, or are you just taking classes?
No idea. Still no idea. One of the things that I really want you guys to take away is it's okay to not know what you want to do right now. I went into college, I've changed my major about 3 times. I'm in a double major right now and I have no idea what I want to do with it. But expanding out and setting myself up with different options is going to help me in the long run. I've thought about business consulting. I've thought about doing some other things with starting a business. That's what entrepreneurship is. But honestly, I have no idea. So once I find something that I can see myself doing and being happy with my life, I think I'll go down that road. I'm gonna come over here real quick just because you haven't had one yet. So, man.
Do you balance work, sports, and education at the same time? And have you done that before? And how do you go about doing it?
Okay, that's a great question. So, not even just in college, right now is really gonna help you guys with managing your time if you're doing it correctly. So if you think about a typical high school day, you come into class 8 o'clock in the morning, you have class all day, a scheduled lunch, you leave after school and you have practices for band, choir, sports teams, you may have student council, groups that meet, retreats, etc., right? And then from there you go home, you have time to eat dinner, and you have time to do homework, and you rinse and repeat. College is completely different. And this should not scare you guys, but college, you have more time to do whatever you want. They don't make you go to classes. They don't check attendance or check homework all the time. It's more on you guys. So if you have to write a paper and they give you this due date, they're not going to say you have to have a draft done by here, an outline done by here. It's on you. You're managing your time. So take these lessons that, for instance, Ms. Ketch may be giving you guys, and remember them. Don't forget the experience like Jobs did, because they're going to come in handy when you get to college. Back to your question, I actually don't play football anymore. I am what's called an RA, so an RA is a resident assistant. When you guys go to college, you would live in freshman dorms if you live on campus, and you have an upperclassman who lives with you. Now, these people get room, board, and a free meal plan, and an $1,100 stipend. So total, that's probably like $14,000 that I'm not paying for school, which is the reason that I took that instead of football. But I still do a million things. Miss Ketch was asking me this morning, I gave a talk to the morning class, and I told her I got up around 6:30, and she's like, wow, that's pretty early for a college kid, right? And I'm like, no, that's usually my routine about 3 times a week. So since I can't be an athlete anymore, I work with the athletes instead. I'm actually a strength and conditioning coach for UD, so if you guys just saw the basketball team who won yesterday, hopefully messed up some people's brackets, I actually get to lift with those guys and work them out to prepare them for the games. So managing time, I have a planner, much like you guys get. I buy one at the beginning of every year. Everything goes in that. When I lose that, I'm a mess. I can't do it. But there's something about writing stuff down and making yourself a checklist and then being able to check that off that's not only gratifying, but it keeps your life in order. So that's what I would offer as far as time management. It's on you, but developing practices now are going to help you in the long run. I think have any of you guys had Miss Myers here? Yeah. She made this awesome quote this one time in her class, and it was something along the lines of, it takes 30 days to build a good habit, but 1 day to break a bad one. And it's so true. It took me over a year and a half to actually learn how to use my planner, starting in high school. And that's because I never used it before. I could usually remember things off the top of my head. Now I can't leave without it. So start now while you can. Yes, ma'am.
Would you say it's better to take morning classes or afternoon classes, or does it like depend on the person?
For school?
Yeah.
Are you a morning person?
No.
Then take afternoon classes.
See, that's what I thought, but some people say it's better to get it out the way, but then.
It's really dependent on what you like. Now, personally, if I had it my way, I would put all my classes 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and be done, and have the rest of the afternoon to work. The business school hates that apparently because everybody has a real job and then comes and teaches after. So half of my classes don't start till 3 and 4 o'clock. I have one that doesn't end till about 8:30. So I'm working most of the day. Now that brings back into his point, how do you time manage well? I have gaps in between classes a lot of the time. So like you guys, you come here and you have math 4 times a week, and you don't have it because of block on the 5th day, correct? And everything's scheduled out for you. I may have a class at 10 a.m., not another one till 1, not another one till 6. And you have to be able to learn how to do stuff in between those chunks of time to stay on top of things. But back to your question, it doesn't matter.